Welcome to Quiz Moose. Are you smarter than a Canadian moose? Let's find out. And yes, that was a moose call.
Think you know the Canada-US border. Think again. From towns split down the middle to tiny places you can only reach by crossing another country, this border is full of wild surprises. Get ready for a fast, fun challenge. You've got just 5 seconds per question. Let's see how many you can get right. What is the total length of the Canada-US border, making it the world's longest international border? 5,525 kilometers, 7,200 kilometers, 809.21 kilometers, or 4,100 kilometers? (8,891 kilometers is the correct answer. The border spans 8,891 kilometers, 5,525 miles, including the Alaska-Canada border. It crosses 6 time zones and 13 U.S. states and territories. What quirky Minnesota community is only accessible by land through Canada? Angle, Inlet Northwest Angle, Isle Royale, Baudette, or Warroad? The answer is Angle Inlet, Northwest Angle. The Northwest Angle exists because of a mapping error in the 1783 Treaty of Paris. Negotiators misidentified the source of the Mississippi River. Oops! Campobello Island in New Brunswick is famous as the summer home of which U.S. President? Franklin D. Roosevelt, Woodrow Wilson, Theodore Roosevelt, or Harry Truman? Franklin D. Roosevelt is the correct answer. FDR's family estate on Campobello is now an international park jointly managed by Canada and the USA, one of only a few such parks in the world. Point Roberts, Washington, is a small American exclave. What fraction of its land boundary borders Canada? Nearly all of it, 3 sides, half, 2 sides, 1/4, 1 side, or it shares no land border. The answer is nearly all of it, 3 sides. Point Roberts is only connected to the rest of the U.S. by water or by driving through Canada. Residents must cross the border just to get to the American mainland. What is the name of the town split directly in half by the Canada-U.S. border in Quebec and Vermont? Derby Line, Stansted, Rouse's Point, Lacalle, Highgate, Noyon, or Newport, Magog? Derby Line, Stansted is the answer. The Haskell Free Library and Opera House sits on the border. The entrance is in the USA, but most of the building is in Canada. International reading. True or false? The Canada-US border is truly undefended with 0 security measures at any crossing. False. It has monitored crossings. True. It's completely open. True. Only customs, no security. Or false. It's heavily militarized. False. It has monitored crossings is the answer. While called undefended, the border has 119 official crossings with customs agents, cameras, and sensors. The RCMP and CBP actively patrol between ports of entry. What Canadian city is located directly south of Detroit, Michigan, meaning you'd travel south to enter Canada? Windsor, Ontario, Sarnia, Ontario, Leamington, Ontario, or Chatham, Ontario? The answer is Windsor, Ontario. Windsor is directly south of Detroit. The Ambassador Bridge and Detroit-Windsor Tunnel connect them. Geography class lied to us. Canada isn't always north. What monument straddles the Canada-US border near Blaine, Washington and Surrey, BC? Peace Arch, International Friendship Arch, Boundary Peace Monument, or the Pacific Gateway Arch? Peace Arch is the correct answer. Built in 1921, the Peace Arch has Children of a Common Mother on the Canadian side and Brethren Dwelling Together in Unity on the American side. Which Great Lake is entirely within the United States with no Canadian border? Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, Lake Erie, or Lake Ontario? The answer is Lake Michigan. Lake Michigan is the only Great Lake 100% within U.S. borders. All the others are shared with Canada. Lake Superior is the largest freshwater lake by surface area. What is the 6-meter-wide cleared corridor maintained along the entire Canada-U.S. land border called? The slash, the cut, the line, or the swath? The slash is the correct answer. The slash is maintained by the International Boundary Commission. It takes crews years to clear the entire length and must be regularly recut. Lots of chainsaw work. What famous waterfall straddles the border between Ontario and New York State? Niagara Falls, Campobello Falls, Rideau Falls, or High Falls? The answer is Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls consists of 3 waterfalls: Horseshoe Falls, Canada; American Falls; and Bridal Veil Falls, both USA. About 3,160 tons of water flows over them every second. What percentage of Canada's population lives within 160 kilometers, 100 miles of the US border? About 90%, about 50%, about 70%, or about 30%? About 90% is the correct answer. Canada's population hugs the southern border because of climate and proximity to U.S. markets. Canada is the second largest country by area, but has only about 41 million people. Which Canadian province shares the longest border with the United States? British Columbia, Ontario, Quebec, or Saskatchewan? The answer is British Columbia. BC shares a long border from the Pacific coast to the Rockies along the 49th parallel. Ontario is a close second with its border running along the Great Lakes. What is the busiest land border crossing in North America? Detroit-Windsor, Ambassador Bridge, Buffalo-Niagara Falls, Blaine-Surrey, Pacific Highway, or Laredo-Nuevo-Laredo? Detroit-Windsor Ambassador Bridge is the correct answer. Over 8,000 commercial trucks cross the Ambassador Bridge daily. It handles about 25% of all Canada-US trade. A second bridge, the Gordie Howe Bridge, is being built nearby. What treaty first established the Canada-US border along the 49th parallel from Lake of the Woods to the Rocky Mountains? Convention of 1818, Treaty of Paris, 1783, Rush-Bagot Agreement, 1817, or the Treaty of Washington, 1871? The answer is Convention of 1818. The Convention of 1818 settled fishing rights and set the border along 49 degrees north. It also established joint occupancy of Oregon country for 10 years. Which U.S. state shares the longest border with Canada? Montana, Maine, Alaska, or Michigan? Alaska is the correct answer. Alaska alone accounts for 2,475 kilometers, 1,538 miles of the total border length. Which island is disputed territory between the U.S. and Canada? Machias Seal Island, Vancouver Island, Prince Edward Island, or Mercer Island? The answer is Machias Seal Island. Both countries claim it. The main inhabitants are puffins and Canadian lighthouse keepers. Which U.S. state shares the shortest border with Canada? Idaho, Pennsylvania, Ohio, or New Hampshire? Pennsylvania is the correct answer. Pennsylvania only shares about 68 kilometers, 42 miles of water border within Lake Erie. In Stansted, Quebec, there is a street where the yellow line is the border. What is it called? Border Boulevard, Canusay Street, Liberty Lane, or Union Avenue? The answer is Canusay Street. Houses on the south side are in the U.S., while houses on the north side are in Canada. Crossing the street is technically illegal without reporting it. Which Canadian province touches the most U.S. states? Ontario, Quebec, Manitoba, or British Columbia? Ontario is the correct answer. It borders 5 different states. How did you do? Share your score in the comments and challenge a friend to beat it. If you had fun, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more fast-paced trivia. Thanks for playing on Quizmoose, where learning is quick, fun, and a little bit wild. See you in the next quiz.